Greetings, beloveds, waiting for this to load and inviting everyone to look within by enjoying a few deep breaths. Thank you for joining us today. This is Solutionaries. I'm your host, Robin Clements, and I'm very grateful and honored to have a very special guest today. This man has blessed my life in huge and wondrous ways and the lives of many people. I want to honor him for his way of service, for his dedication to ceremony and the path of spirit, as he helps us all just be better human beings. Wolf is an incredible body therapist. He's got over 25 years of experience integrating extensive training in shiatsu, reading the energies of the 5 elements, breath work, sacred song, journey, communing with the spirit of the ancestors and the Great Mother. He moves to create an environment for the optimal opportunity for growth and change at this time for individuals and for groups. I'm so grateful and warmly welcoming you on the show, Wolf Martinez. Brother, thank you
so much. I'm really honored to be here with you. This is very exciting. We've done a lot of things over the years, and yeah, keep on exploring new realms together. It's awesome.
Brother. Wolf, I want to acknowledge you for the way you give and serve, and your ability to truly listen above all, and the way you've impacted my life and how you've given me so much. I just want to give you to the people today and asking you to share. If it feels appropriate to open in this way, I'd love for you to open with a song or a prayer or both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm putting some cedar here to send some smoke up for everybody. Yeah. I want to ask everybody to just relax your body. Take a big deep breath, or 4 or 5. I'm sending this cedar smoke over through the internet here. Cleanse everybody off. Start off here with a prayer, because that's what we're here for. Grandfathers, grandmothers, come before you today with my relative Robin here, and with the people. Come before you today with a strong prayer, grandfathers, grandmothers, for the well-being of everyone here and all of our families, our friends, our families, our relatives far and wide, grandfathers, grandmothers. I feel blessed to be here in this moment. I say, Wopila, thank you. Thank you for calling us together at this time, everyone that is here in this moment. Thank you for calling us together to share this time together, this space, this spirit, to share our breath and our hearts, our medicine. I ask you to bless each and every one here, grandfathers, grandmothers. We come to clear our heads and to open our hearts, to strengthen our body and fill our spirit with the joy of your spirit. We come, grandfathers, grandmothers, so that we can move through these times in a good way, grandfathers, grandmothers. We come to deepen in our unity, our connection, our relationship with you, with all that is in the web of life. And I pray, grandfathers, grandmothers, that we are able to remember our ability to dream our reality, to dream our life, to send that vision out in a prayer to have an effect on others, to have an effect on the web, and to not be so affected by all that is going on in the web. I pray, grandfathers, grandmothers, that we realize this dream, your vision for our lives, this place that we are in, moving toward a greater unity as one family, one people, at one with our Mother Earth, with Father Sky, with all parts of ourself, and to let go of the patterns, habits, all the ways in which we get in our own way, in which we perpetuate division and separation, and remember that we are all one. Aho mitakuyasu.
No.
Oh.
Thank you, Brother Wolf.
Aho.
All our relations. Let's enjoy a deep breath, receive and release that out to all of our relations. Thank you, Wolf. I would love for you to speak to us today about the technology of prayer.
Interesting.
As a way that we can all communicate with the nature of our lives today as a practice.
Oh, this interesting choice of words, technology of prayer. I never thought of it that way, but yeah. When I first came to these ways, my elders, they would say, to go talk to that fire, and go talk to the tree, or go talk to your ancestors, go talk to my ancestors, go talk to Great Spirit, go listen. Sometimes they would say, go listen, that tree is wanting to tell you something. They actually didn't use the word prayer, but the language was all about communication, relationship. And for me, And not just for me, but what I've come to realize over the years is prayer is just that. It's a form of communication with the sacred, with nature, with all elements of nature, with the fire, the water, the wind, the air, the plants, the animals, the trees, with our ancestors, with Great Spirit, the Star Nation, Father, Son. And we can't be in a relationship without communication. Relationship means to relate. And so if we want to connect, we have to speak to these ones. And it's the same to me. The relationship with spirit is the same as my relationship with you. When we want to connect, we have to pick up the phone, or back in the old day we would just go knock on somebody's door, but now we have to kind of send a text or whatever. But it's about that. It's about just opening our hearts and being with one another and sharing with one another from a meaningful place, and at the same time, uh, uh, a place that is not so serious all the time, and enjoying this time, and enjoying that prayer. If when you're talking to your ancestors, enjoy that connection. So for me, it's really a big part of the connection and the relationship, is to not take it so seriously and to have fun. That's one of the things I've learned a lot in the Inipi and Sweat Lodge, and through these ways. Omatakwiasin. And that's what we say when we're finished speaking. We say Metakwiasin, which often translates to mean all our relations. And relations is a foundation. It's a fundamental part of these ways. It's not about worship, but it's more so. It's about being with the seen and the unseen, connecting and relating and learning and growing. And through that, we see ourselves, and we deepen in that relationship too, because it's all one. Home,
Thank you, Wolf. That really hits home for me, and reminding us all to connect with ourselves before and as we reach out, and to truly listen. Many of us communicate with not only each other, but to life in a way that we don't truly listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And one of the great things that you've taught me is that importance of listening to what comes back, how our consciousness is organized around our prayers, and what opens once we speak that communication with our relationships, and truly being able to receive, not just from our beloveds and how they communicate to us, but how the tree and how the fire, how the wind speaks to us, and how it responds to our breath. I had a very powerful teaching once, and wishing that I had some cedar with me for a fire, as I was wanting to offer the fire something. And I remembered the most powerful thing I can offer is my breath. And I just went to grandfather, and he went clunk, and a big piece of log fell, in the fire. It was a really powerful confirmation that, that he was listening, because he very quickly responded to my breath. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Great Spirit gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and the teaching behind that is to listen twice as much. But we have to speak. Our voice is unique. As animals here on Mother Earth, we have a very unique voice in the animal kingdom, animal nation, and we have to use that voice. It's very sacred, and to learn how to use it. We're talking about prayer, the importance of prayer, the power of prayer, communication, but but learning how to do that in a good way, you know, respectfully, humbly, courageously, honestly, with fortitude, with perseverance. Um, and I'm touching on some of the codes of ethics here, and the codes of ethics have been also really um, fundamental in teaching me, you know, how to be in relationship in a good way. Every day I think about these things. So yeah,
Mm.
listening twice as much to this before I speak, and listening to you, and how that, what does that stir inside, you know, and how do I want to respond, you know, what does it bring up in me, how do I want to respond? So it's really, it's, to me, it's listening first. And this is one of the things that, oh, I see in our society, people aren't really listening to each other. They're talking over each other, and they're interrupting each other, and they're trying to be heard more than they're trying to hear. They're hearing, but are they listening? You know, are we listening? And right now, we need to listen. There's so much going on right now, and people aren't really listening underneath all that is going on. Listening underneath, on
Mm.
the side, you know, above, below. Listening um, in a broader perspective. And what we hear is so many answers to our prayers happening so rapidly, so amplified, you know. I feel everything is so amplified right now, the light and the shadow. And a lot of it is also about just paying attention to what we're paying attention to, and whatever we're paying attention to, we're giving ourselves to. And for me, it's really about paying attention that I'm not giving myself too much to one thing or another, but, you know, really walking in the middle so I can receive the blessings from both.
Mm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this time is inviting us to pay more attention. You know, it's like when things aren't going so well in our lives, it's when life asks us to listen a little bit more, reevaluate,
Uh-huh.
and to stop and to slow down. And this is happening in the world now, and it's bringing us more grace. And I want to lead into this topic or word that maybe is not a word in the Lakota language, but when you and I looked at it and we saw the definition of it being an unmerited support from the divine, uh, what it brings to me is that it's it's un you can't cause grace, you can't earn it, right? But we can open to it. As we open more to what's happening in life, we can let go of the difficulties. For me, grace is a removing of the difficulties. And what I've experienced with you in Sweat Lodge, for example, is when you're feeling that fear or challenge or resistance of the heat and the darkness, something shifts at some point and you open, and there's this vibration that comes through you that we could call grace. And so I guess grace is experienced in many different forms and at many different times in our lives, but at this time is asking us to be more graceful. So I would love for you to speak to what it takes and how you're really so good at coaching people to calm the breath and relax into the body in times where we're challenged, like, you know, sitting for 4 days and 4 nights without food and water, and for example, those beautiful powerful ceremonies that you lead and guide. And can you speak to us about what your feeling and understanding might be, a inner standing of grace?
Wow. Well, you've just said a lot of things that I want to speak to. Um, um, the last sentence, these beautiful, powerful ceremonies that you lead, you said just now to me. And uh, I'm mostly just getting out of the way. I'm just doing the best that I can to get out of the way. I don't feel like I'm leading, you
Thank
know.
you.
Maybe, yeah, I mean, on some level, yes. On some level, I'm guiding, yeah. But I'm just doing my best to just get out of the way to let that grace come through. And sitting in the nipi, you brought up just now, sitting in the nipi, I feel that breath, that grandfather's breath coming around us, and and I feel it like an embrace, a warm embrace. I feel like like the dark in the womb of Mother Earth is an embrace, a warm embrace. It's a comfort, and so much opens up in that place. So much that we can see, feel, and hear in that place of stillness and silence. And yeah, there are times when it brings up our fear, or brings up our pain in our back, or you know brings up different things, and if we can learn how to be with those things in 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 a calm way, in a way that we're not fighting or resisting, but um, mm, mm, allowing, so that those fears and those places of pain and suffering can be released. Because I think there's a tendency in us to try to hold on or protect in those places where we're hurting, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And yeah, one of the things I've learned, especially in doing body work, is just, relax, let it go, don't hold on, let go, let it go, and stay focused on the reality you're wanting to call into your life. Stay focused on why you're there in that ceremony. Ultimately, what it is that you're um, praying for. Intention. It's more intentionality. It's visioning. We say vision quest, but really, I see it less as we're going out there to get a vision. I don't know, half and half maybe. We're going out there to send a vision out, to send a prayer out, to send that out. And I think we all know the joy of giving. We get a lot, in that. And same thing in Vision Quest and ceremony. Hamblecha, we say, in Lakota Hamblecha, which is about going into a journey into the night to cry. Cry is another word for sending out a voice or sending out a prayer. Did I lose the subject?
Thank you so much. It brings up for me, again, a reminder to listen. And what I've noticed in breath work, what you speak to of this holding on, I've noticed it as a survival mechanism that's engraved in us. It's in our technology, of the body. And I love that word because, a woman is the technology to give birth, and men and women are the technology of prayer, therefore. And noticing our pain is not always easy because we're so good at looking at the other way, because it's a natural survival mechanism not to touch something hot, not to want to feel into what's uncomfortable. But yet when we listen, our pain is communicating to us. It's the body
That's right.
feedback loop of where we need more attention.
More love.
And you've been really good at reminding me where I've been getting in the way and where I wasn't listening, to be able to listen more and therefore receive the messages of what body, what life, what friends and relatives and the elements are teaching us through life. So thank you so much for those reminders.
Mhm. Yeah, so many societies and traditions and teachings from around the world, um, incorporated teachings with breath and how important it is to really pull that in and to work with the breath in a conscious way, in an intentional way. That's life, you know, that life force. It's life, and we have to. Well, we don't have to, but when we choose to um, work with that breath in a good way and call it in. I always have people, as you know, especially when I'm working with them in session, to really just focus on that inhale and reach to fill yourself up. And I'll move with people like that for 30 minutes, an hour, or sometimes longer. And the effect that that has, you know, on us. I know you know. Um, it's so important, and I do my best to remember that every day, to take some time to breathe deep and full, welcome life, consciously choosing to drink it in. And your question was, you know, about asking people to quiet the breath. And sometimes, you know, when we get scared, either we hold our breath or we start to breathe, you know, rapidly. So it just depends, you know, on the individual and what I hear in their breath and how they're doing it, you know,
Uh-huh.
or not.
Thank you. Can you, when I received some body work from you, I really respected how much you had contacted my lower belly and were reminding, you know, me to breathe in that area. And you know, as much as I have learned and do breathe in the belly, I clearly know the importance of finding trust, self-confidence, creativity, and groundedness in the belly. Can you speak to that? What you're seeing in someone's body when you're working with them one-on-one, and you notice that they maybe are not breathing in the belly, and the importance of breathing in the lower energy centers in the body?
Well, to generalize, I feel that most people are, you know, not really breathing consciously and therefore just relying on the body's innate ability to take in just enough to sustain us, but not to open us up. And when I'm, especially, you know, and I'm sure you know, as a breath worker, facilitator, when we are introducing people to breath work, as we're talking about, um, a lot of people tend to really be shallow in the breath, you know, more upper in the lungs or in the chest, and to move it down lower, you know, our hips are a cradle, and our whole being sits in that cradle. That's the earth. I see the hips as the earth, you know, the legs, if you want to think of it as as roots, you know, our connection to Mother Earth, but to the ground. But the hips are really representative of Mother Earth. And so we move ourselves into those lower places. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, wanting to be in the heart and coming from the heart. And that's beautiful and that's good. But to go even lower in the belly, in the hara, in the center, um, that's much more grounded in a place of deep trust. And you know, in reference to this this program here today, and what we're here to talk about, these times, it's we're in the time. It's a lot of people are having great difficulty trusting, and there's this perception that everything's falling apart. And when I hear people say that, I'm like, no, everything's falling into place. Everything's our prayers, you know, that we've been holding for generations. You know, things are coming into place. Things are coming back together. And so, you know, to be able to come deeper into our being and our body in that place of deep trust, even though we may not be feeling trust, but choosing it, even though we may not be feeling love, but choosing it. That's what
Thank
that's
you.
about. And it's a simple tool. It's a simple way to do that. simple way to get there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll invite you to close those other browsers on your computer from those sounds. And that reminder, inviting each of us to just close the eyes and enjoy a few deep breaths from the belly to the heart. This is our ability to self-regulate, to turn attention inward, and to relax. I'd like to talk about the importance of relaxation, maybe being the most important thing
Oh,
today, and how we're so overstimulated by our environment, and we have a tendency to look outside of ourselves for our needs being met. And this
mhm.
really essential importance of relaxation and how it calms the nervous system in order for us to tap in to our capacity to fill our own cup, but essentially to bring us back into the relaxed branch of digest and rest in the nervous system. And this ability is mostly discovered in the quality of the out breath. The quality of how we're breathing out is our ability to relax and let go, has everything to do with our ability to relax and let go. Can you speak to that sound that you hear sometimes? And I'd like to share with the audience that, from what I understand and what you've taught me, the word inipi, which is what the Lakota tradition calls the sweat lodge, is a combination of two words, which would be breath and tipi. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've heard a few different definitions. I don't this dinging that keeps happening. I don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah, it's
I've
all
turned off
good.
my messages, and I'm sorry if that's being annoying. Um, it's messages.
Spirit's happy.
Okay, I hope that's not too distracting to everybody.
It's
Uh,
all good.
yeah, I've heard a few different definitions. Ini is a word for breath. Tipi is a word for lodge, um, or house, and inipi is those two words made into one word. So it's inipi doesn't translate to mean sweat lodge. Um, I don't know where those words really came from. Obviously, they're English words, but I don't really care for them because they diminish what the ceremony is about, or they diminish the experience. It's only one aspect of what happens in there. Um, uh, it's kind of it's a limited perspective. The word sweat lodge on really the fullness of what we experience in that place, and the purification that happens in that ceremony, and the opportunity that we have in experiencing the infinite. And same thing with Hamblecha. Some people call that vision quest, and I touched on that a few moments ago. Um, the 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 word Hamblecha doesn't translate to mean vision quest. It's really going out to cry, to send out our voice. It's a giving. We're going out there to give of ourself, um, for our relatives, for the people, so they don't suffer, um, so that we can thrive, so that we can have a good life. And really, that's what it's about.
Hmm. One of the greatest things that helped me on that particular ceremony, Blecha, was tuning into my breath. And I'd like you to come back to the quality that you are able to hear and facilitate when you notice that the breathing of the people in the space, in that dark womb of our mother, that the ability for you to be in tune with the circle's ability to relax into the experience
Mhm.
through the quality of what you're hearing in their breathing. Can you speak to that?
Mm-hmm. Well, for those of you that have not been in an Inipi, a sweat lodge before, it's dark in there, and we sing some songs, and we talk to our ancestors, we talk to Great Spirit, we talk to Mother Earth, and we allow ourselves to be witnessed, because we talk from our heart, and sometimes sometimes we can rock and roll in there, and like life, it's the womb. The Inipi is the womb of the mother. It's where life is given, and sometimes we're challenged, and that's a good thing. That's how we grow. That's how we tap into our inner strengths. That's how we learn. So in that place, in that darkness, I'm really just touching in on everyone's. I'm listening acutely, listening to everyone in the lodge and inside myself and around, and it's I guess it's a trained ear, and learning how to work with an individual based on what I'm hearing in their breath, and not just in their breath, but in the sounds that we make, or don't make. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And with that said, Wolf, I would love for you to talk to us today about the importance of integrity and experience in regards to sharing and facilitating medicine work, any type of vibrational medicine work, plant medicine, ceremonial work. The importance today of going to ceremony with a reputable resource of someone with plenty of experience. I would love for you to speak to facilitators who might be very new and maybe a little overzealous, and the importance of people that are really new and just searching out really good practices and people to guide them through those practices today, and the importance of integrity.
It's a really good question. It's an important one. The only way we can share these things is if we've allowed ourselves to receive them. If we've really walked that path of changing ourselves and changing our life and bettering ourselves, then we, if we feel called, to share these things with others. In our society, in this Western patriarchal society, there's so many things out there to study, so many different forms of therapy out there to study, and that's all good. I know that in our human hearts, a lot of people, we want to help others, we want to share with others, but in these medicine ways, um, it's most beneficial, most effective for us to find the balance within ourselves, to find the balance within our own ego and our own heart, to really come in balance with ourselves so that we're able to share these things from that place of what you're saying, integrity, from that place of authenticity, having familiarized ourselves with the path so that we can share these things. Yeah, my teacher, I had been with him for many years, I think maybe 8 years. When one day in the ceremony, he passed me the bucket and asked me to pour water on the stones, and he had never done that before. And in that Inipi, he announced that it was time for me to start leading the ceremony, and I was really shaken. I didn't know that that's what was happening in that ceremony on that day. And 2 years later, he came to my house we had moved from New York. We were living here in New Mexico, and he came to my house. He said, where's your nipi? Where's your sweat lodge? I was like, oh, I don't have one. He said, well, why don't you have a sweat lodge? And I came up with some excuses or some reasons, you know. And he said, no. Tomorrow we're going out. We're gonna build a sweat lodge tomorrow, and you're gonna start leading that ceremony. But it took me a couple of years, you know, from receiving the ceremony to actually performing the ceremony. And this ceremony has saved my life so many times, over and over again. It saves my life. And literally the very first time I ever went to Inipi was at a time in my life when I had lost my will to live. And I felt like I had come home. I found this feeling, home, which I had never really felt on that level. Being a misfit my whole life, you know, this feeling of not belonging or not knowing where I belong. And that place in the womb, you know, that's what really transformed my life. So I always say to people, you know, it's good that you want to help others, but ultimately you have to help yourself. You have to really do the work for yourself and heal yourself, help yourself, take care of yourself. And we all can do that, you know, more and better, myself included. It's a constant, you know. It just doesn't happen, you know, at one time in your life where you kind of, the light goes on and you get it. It's a constant taking care of yourself. And that way we can take care of each other that much more authentically with greater integrity.
Thank you so much, brother. Humility is what really comes across, you know, from you for us today. And I realize that the more that we learn, the more humble we get, and how that deepens, you know, not only our ability to be with ourselves, but therefore our ability to be there for others. And it's dangerous, or should be impossible, if we're not taking care of ourselves, to take care of others. And we're all learning that more and more today, that if we're trying to serve with an empty cup, we're going to be stressed out, we're going to be challenged, and our rudder of the boat is not deep in the water. Even though our sails might be open, you know, it's easy to get carried around by the storm of life today if we're not really in our own seat, you know, and able to hold that rudder. And that takes presence and humility. So thank you for that reminder.
When COVID hit, I immediately recognized the prophecies that I had been hearing for so many years, decades, from the elders, from various traditions, from various indigenous peoples around the world. Prophecies I've been listening to and hearing about for so long. I immediately recognized, oh, wow. Oh my God, this time is here right now. And I'm alive. I get to witness. At first I thought, wow, I get to be here. It took a few days to realize, no, I'm not here to witness, you know. We are not here to witness. We all agreed to be here at this time. We're here to do something, to do our part, to contribute in whatever way we can to take care of each other. So for me, you know, that's really been the focus the whole time, is Oh, we're on a global vision quest, ready or not, whether you've been prepared or know how to prepare to go out on a vision quest on a humblecha, you know, hello, here we are, we're all doing this, and we're all going to do it together. And yes, most of the people are not prepared. Most of the people don't know how to prepare themselves to go sit in the forest for 4 days without food and water. So those of us that, um, have had some experience, and carrying pipes or carrying sacred objects or whatever we're carrying, whatever medicine we're carrying, this is the real ceremony right now. Life is the real ceremony. And those other places that we've been going to pray all these years has been preparing us for this time. This is the moment. And so I've been real clear about that the whole time. Um, and excited. Of course, there's been moments of feeling the anxiety of going out there and uh, uh, feeling the anxiety and the collective, the fear and the collective. And um, I'm not as I'm more afraid of the anxiety and fear than I am of COVID. It's um, um, I have respect for what's happening. I have respect for that spirit, that thing that people are calling COVID, that virus. I'm seeing it as a spirit that's really bringing something. Um, and yeah, a lot of people are gonna fall. A lot of people are falling. It tears my heart, tears at our hearts, at our human hearts. And all we can do is continue to come back to the center, come back to that prayer, come back to that prayer, come back to doing what we can to take care of each other and help each other and move through this time. Because I feel it's not an I feel, but we are going through an evolutionary phase toward unity and oneness. And that's also been my focus, what I'm paying attention to, and then understanding there are much greater forces at work here. And I just want to be real clear with what I am choosing to be in alignment with, and holding that prayer for all of us, and holding that prayer for everyone I come in contact with. What are you choosing to be in alignment with? What are you choosing? Are you clear what you're aligning with? And if it's not helping or serving or feeling good, then maybe you want to align with something else.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'm feeling the importance of the container, the organizing our home. When I have experienced beautiful ceremonies with you, everything feels really, really organized and in its place, in a way that you know where your eagle fan is when you need it, and where your altar is and what's on it. And this time, as we're still in retreat, we're still in vision quest after many months, is still asking us to reevaluate and reorganize our home and our body, our relationship, and the ways that we're affecting our others and life at this time. So I'm seeing more and more how my own body is the altar. Everything is such, there's so many common threads in the different traditions that I've been so privileged to experience, the common threads of sacrifice and connection and an awareness and relationship. And you've given us some beautiful reminders today. Thank you so much.
I have cleaned places, areas in my house that have been needing to be cleaned for years, especially at the onset of this, lockdown. It was like, okay, time to clean house, right? Time to clean house. So yeah, that's a beautiful metaphor, because I've been really aware, as we're cleaning off of these places that we just put off and put off and put off and ignore or procrastinate, not procrastinating, really stepping up to the plate. And
Uh-huh.
then that's, about myself, taking more time to take a walk and do some more exercise and eating much better. I lost weight in COVID. I lost weight at the beginning of all this because I was just really eating consciously, and all of this said to Robin and to the audience here, I really want to say, fear and anxiety create so much stress, and that lowers the immune system. And we're here about, building things up here, building ourself up. And that's also been a huge part of my focus is when I feel that fear and anxiety seep in, we're all human, we're all two-legged. I have my moments of feeling that and feeling lonely and, fear of relationships ending or whatever, separation. The moment I feel anything that feels remotely close to separation, boy, it really, it brings up stuff in me. And but I come right back, I come back to my healing room, to my altar. I come back to my breath. I come back to the chanupa, the song, the drum, dance. I come back to singing and dancing, and that always brings me back into center. And then I can approach those other things from a much clearer way, a much more heartfelt way with a greater perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Wolf. I want to
yeah,
ask you
that's
to,
anything I can share right now. I think that's maybe one of the more important things right now is just keep ourselves in a positive vibration, keep the immune system up, eat healthy, take good care of each other, and be kind. Home, Takumi.
thank you. One of my strong beliefs and confirmations and experience in this life is that we all have everything that we need. At this point in human history, we've got all the tools accessible to us, and we still have a tendency to look outside. What I would like to do with these last few minutes here, if you can gift us a solution, a tool of a way to pray, like it might be very common, for you to go out and have a conversation, first of all with your husband and then your dog, and but how do you go out to the land and offer your breath to the wind? And can you give us some tools?
It's a big word, that word prayer. Um, I've learned a number of things about it over the years. I'm still learning. Um, and none of these things, are the truth. These are just my experience. I encourage everyone to experiment with these things. If it works for you, hallelujah. It's worked for me a lot over the years. Not just me, many, many, many. Um, our actions is a prayer, not just our words. Our actions are a prayer. And when we go out, it's about, and especially in the inipi or in ceremony is a place I have learned to approach it as it's a place to practice how to live, to learn how to live. So if we apply what we learn in the ceremony and apply it to life, because that's what the ceremony is about, teaching us so that we can apply it to life. So in our conversation, in our communication, it's not just about letting go of what's not working, but it's also about calling in what we desire. But ultimately, I feel it's about emptying ourselves of everything, emptying ourselves of the fear and the love. Give it all away. Give that fear to Great Spirit, give it to Mother Earth, give those places where you're hurting physically, mentally, emotionally, give it away. Give it to Mother Earth, give it to Father Sky. They can handle it. Give it to those stones, give it to the fire, and call in, what it is you desire. But, oftentimes we also feel in that place, we feel that love, we feel that gratitude. Give it all away. Give that love away. Give that gratitude away. Don't try to hold on to anything. Make yourself that hollow bone. Be that open vessel, that open channel. That's a big part of it too. Simple practice. Be honest and open. Be clear. Don't forget, not just, hey, this is what's bothering me, this is what I'm scared of, but, oh, this is what I'm grateful for. Give thanks. Lay down, close your eyes, breathe deep, talk to them. The silent prayer is good. The spoken prayer is more potent, more powerful. You're witnessed. But, talk to them, empty yourself out, and then take some time to just breathe deep and listen, like having a conversation. Don't just talk and walk away. Take some time to listen. They'll respond. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
I mean, we could go on. I could go on, but I'm trying to keep it,
Thank you. Just want to offer a reminder, in your tradition, your lineage, one of the ways that we can give back for what we get. And maybe that's one of the greatest things I've learned from indigenous cultures is not just to take, but to give something back. In fact, when we go for a ceremony of any nature, the first thing we do is to give, knowing that we're about to receive. But I want to offer the audience a reminder, because you like to lay down some cedar or some tobacco as part of your tradition. I've learned that one of the greatest things that we can offer is the spirit of our own breath. Like when I pick up a drum, even if it's my own, I'll offer my breath before I play it. And that giving back of myself and presents my vibration onto it, and something changes and opens with that giving, the way of giving, the importance of giving in all of our relationships, and reminding that when we say this, when you say quiescent, it's not just our blood relations, but our relationship with the rocks and with the wood that built the lodge, and with the mother, and with the star nation, and everything in all directions. And that multidimensional star that is the blanket of the morning star, that represents that multidimensional, all directional, relationship that we are at all times.
To be in healthy relationship, we have to approach the relationship because we have something to give, not because we want to get something. That's one of the things that I've learned through these ways is, if we approach our relationships because we want to give, as opposed to we want to get, that relationship is sustainable for a long period of time. But if we're in the relationship because we want to get or take, that's not sustainable. And that's where we are with our Mother Earth, in this Western civilization that people have been taking and not giving. And yeah, and the way I was taught, you want to ask the tree people for some medicine, some cedar leaves or whatever. You want to ask the plant people for some medicine. You want to You want to take the life of an elk or a buffalo, or, for whatever you're, because we need to eat, right? But we always offer um, tobacco. Some people offer cornmeal. Um, we offer different things. We offer a song. We offer a ceremony. We offer a dance. But we always offer, make an offering in asking for what it is that we want or need. Um, Never take without giving. That way, the relationship stays in balance, and you never take more than what you actually need.
Thank you.
Aho, good
Aho
question.
mataku
Thank
yasu.
you.
As we get to the hour mark, Wolf, I would love for you to close with a prayer for us, please.
Mhm. I was just ask everyone to close your eyes and put your hands on your heart and breathe deep and say, Wopila, thank you. Thank you for bringing all of us together here. Thank you for all of my relations, all of our relations. Wakan Tonka, Great Spirit, Wopila. We come because we want to live in a good way. Uchisone Washte. Tonka shela wopela yelo ampe tugile waka yelo hai metaku yelo mazanik telo wopela yelo yo hai hey oh 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 way oh way oh way hi ahu Elohai hey oh way oh hey oh way oh hey hi ahu Elohai oh Tonka shela wopela yelo apetugile waka yelo hai Metaku yelo mazanik telo wopela yelo yo hoi ho ho. Thank you.
Oh,
Wopela.
thank you, brother. Wolf, how can people get in touch with you? I know you do amazing online one-on-one work and group ceremony. How can people get in touch with you?
Blue Wolf Puma at gmail.com or at me.com. BLUEWOLF at either gmail or me.com.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Peace and blessings to your body, your heart, for giving yourself today, to your family and your home, and peace and blessings to you.
Robin, thank you. You're amazing. I love you so much. Thank you.
Love you, brother. Peace and blessings to everyone who has received this beautiful conversation. Home Takuyasu.
Oh, Mitakumas.